Mr. Bobrovitz, why don't you get us started?
Well, Your Worship, we had this long discussion. Now we're going to have an in-camera session somewhere down in July. Is this going to resolve this issue? Or are we just going to keep punting this further down the road?
Well, I think what we saw today was, there would have been an opportunity to put a nail in this thing because certainly the costs are much higher. And by the way, the thing that didn't really come out in our long conversation today is we don't have any of this money. No CRL has been approved. There is no $200 million for the field house, so really none of the money exists. That said, I think Council, what you heard from Council today is that they very much want to see if we can solve the problem on the existing CalgaryNEXT site and meet those 6 guiding principles. It's going to be tough, but certainly I think Calgary Sports and Entertainment should have the chance to try and address some of the questions and concerns and see if they can be met. I'm not optimistic on that, but I also think that what Council did today was start up a conversation about seeing if there are any other alternatives. Calgarians have been pretty clear that they would like to see better facilities, but they've also been pretty clear that public money has to go for public benefit. And the real issue there is to square this circle and see if we can put those two things together.
There's a ton of conversation about the second recommendation and the wording in the second recommendation. Can you just explain what you guys agreed to? And you seem to kind of try to explain both sides a bit of well, they're not saying this and they're saying that. Can you just explain what you guys came to and if you feel it was the right to get that sentence out?
Taking the sentence out was kind of irrelevant. It was one of those things where Council spends a half hour on something that probably won't have much impact at all. But what the second recommendation really says is start talking about alternative plans. And in particular, the city is suggesting to talk about an alternative plan that splits the football and the arena/event center. Looks at potential sites for the arena event center at Stampede Park, looks at renovations of McMahon Stadium. So this is one option that is out there. If there are others, certainly CSCC or members of the public could bring those forward. But it really is not just punting the ball further down the field, but really trying to keep options open to see if there's anything possible there if the Calgary West or the CalgaryNEXT proposal in West Village proves completely unfeasible. The report did say it was not feasible in its current form, so the question is, can you fix it to make it feasible, or do you have to think of something else?
One council said he was surprised at how low the pollution remediation cost was. So does that give new life to that location?
No. It does give new life to the location in terms of doing the remediation. I'm not sure it makes much of a difference because, of course, the CRL numbers were also lower than anticipated, so those two things sort of balance each other off. That said, we had our early indications were that those numbers would be much higher. Calgary Municipal Land Corp spent a fair bit of money, nearly $2 million, digging core samples and doing analysis. And for once, doing a bunch of government analysis actually led to a lower cost. So that's a good thing, actually. But I think that recommendation number 3 today really suggested that Council needs to solve this environmental problem regardless of what the situation is with CalgaryNEXT.
Is the question really not whether the Flames wish to wait as long as it's going to take to remediate the site? I mean, if yes, theoretically it stays alive. If the answer is no, it's time to move on, isn't it?
I should think so. That is one of the key questions. There are many, many questions, but there are many, many gates and off-ramps here. But one of the most important ones is if you believe the environmental assessment, yes, it's cheaper than we thought to do the cleanup, but it's going to take a lot of years, on the outside even 10 years. And that's just a strict, it's one of those problems you get when you interview for a job. How many dump trucks filled with dirt does it take over how much time to remove a whole bunch of dirt? And, I don't know how you speed that up. If in fact the right way to do this is to do the dig and dump, which is what the environmental recommendation is, then it takes that long. And if it takes that long, you can't start building. And certainly you can't start building anything that's subsurface until that's done.
You still have another site that you prefer. You mentioned in the past you didn't want for a few months ago, as I recall, but you did have another alternative preferred site for a arena football stadium.
Well, I'm not sure I have a preferred site. I think what Council said today is to look around the Stampede Park and see if there's anything there. And I think that that's something that's well worth doing.
And does the Stampede indicate anything to the city?
I think you heard today in Council that there's been some very early discussions, but it's a matter of now having those discussions now that administration has direction to do that.
Do you think there's any chance of getting any money out of the original polluter, considering that company no longer exists and was absorbed by Domtar?
Oh yes, I think so. I think that our provincial government, our new provincial government, has really committed to the polluter pay principle, We've seen Domtar take responsibility for a number of old sites in different parts of the country, so I think that's a discussion that's well worth having. But it will take a while. All right, thanks everybody. Oh,
Can I ask you for a minute from this morning, and as the Integrity Commissioner, is Mr. Slatke on the job? And if he's not, what becomes of the conservative?
what do you mean is he on the job?
Well, in terms of, he hasn't rewritten the rules along with the ethics advisor. So just, if the answer is he doesn't have the ability to investigate at this point, what happens?
I think council, I mean, that's a legal question, and it's a good question for Mr. Slatke, but I think that council sent it to him. They specifically didn't send it through the whistleblower process, so he'll have it now.
Thanks all.
Thank you.